Hello, friends. We welcome you to the Legal Breeze. Today, we will be discussing an important topic relating to the relationship between the copyright and the right to education. What is the impact of copyright on the right to education? Whether copyright facilitates the right to education or it inhibits or it adversely affects the right to education. These are the few things we would like to discuss in this particular program is concerned. We should go back to the origin of the copyright. In India, people say we don't have a copyright system or intellectual property system in the ancient era, which I totally disagree. We have a robust IP system, including copyright, trademarks. We have reasonable evidence because both authorship, the person who is responsible for codification, and the person who has codified, all these things are categorically and clearly mentioned even during the Sangam literature. The concept of anonymous work as well as pseudonymous work is also recognized in our ancient literature system. In Tamil, people call it Toguttavar, Togupittavar, Asiriyar, Padalasiriyar. All these names, Kavinyar, all these names we have come across. And generally, the poets or literarians have been funded by the state, by the king. So therefore, the moral right has been given perpetually, permanently to the authors. And the exploitation has been given freely to the society because it was funded by the state. Whereas the Western based IP system is just different. It is private property, private institution. State is not funding. So therefore, the right is given to the private persons. Copyright is a negative right. It's not a positive right. What is that? It prohibits not to copy somebody's original literary creative work. This is very important. And if you violate that right, any person who violates, any person who copies a copyrighted work is punishable with imprisonment, with damages, that is compensation. So these are all we should understand it. Now let us come back to the modern history. The modern copyright system which we follow owes its origin from the British India. Way back in 1913, we had this Copyright Act. After independence, it has been it has undergone a thorough study and it was totally repealed and new act has been brought in the year 1957 or 58, just you can check it out. And then it has undergone a lot of amendments, including in 1994, 1999, in the recent past 2012. These are the major important amendments in the Copyright Act is concerned. Why we have amended copyright? That's very important. Why we need to amend the Copyright Act? That's very important. There comes the international law. At least you should remember the Berne Convention, BERNE, Berne Convention, 1971 version. The Berne Convention is one of the oldest international convention relating to the copyright. Still it is in operation. It is administered by WIPO. Then you have TRIPS agreement. This is a very important one. This is coming under the WTO. Besides which, there are two more important convention or treaty called WIPO Copyright Treaty, WCT, and WIPO produces of phonograms and performance rights treaty, WPPT. So these are the major instruments under international law which is governing the international copyright regime. To some of the instruments like TRIPS agreement, Berne Convention, India has signed. India is a party. Whereas India is not a party to the WIPO copyright treaties or World Internet Treaties. They are called World Internet Treaties. They are providing copyright in the digital era. That's very important. Now, in order to implement the TRIPS obligations, all the developing countries have to fulfill certain minimum uniformity standard which has been created by the TRIPS from Article 9 to 14, which is dealing with the copyrighted subject matter or copyright work is concerned. Now, what is the issue? What is the problem? Why we need to discuss the relationship between Copyright Act or copyright and the right to education? This copyright Today, copyrighted materials are governed largely by the multinational companies, whether it is textbooks, novel, cultural works, entertainment works, or other works. So when our Indian students wanted to have access to those copyrighted material, it is very costly, very costly. Unlike US, we have a different system. In US, please remember, intellectual property as well as copyright is a constitutional right. What is a constitutional right? You may ask me. A right which is guaranteed by the constitution itself. Whereas on the other hand, in India, copyright is not a constitutional right. It is a statutory right. Of course, it can be protected implicitly under the right to property under the Indian Constitution, particularly under Article 300A, but it has not been explicitly guaranteed. That's very important. So even today, copyright is a statutory right, whereas right to education is a constitutional right. That one needs to understand it. A complete difference. In US, copyright is a constitutional right by virtue of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, whereas right to education is not a constitutional right there. Whereas just contrast, in India, right to education is a constitutional right. In fact, it is a fundamental right. It's not a mere constitutional right, it is a fundamental right. One may ask me, what is the difference between fundamental right and constitutional right? If it is an ordinary constitutional right, it can be amended by the parliament. It can be taken away by the parliament through a constitutional amendment. Whereas, if it is a fundamental right, even parliament cannot take away it through using its amending power. That's very important. Once it has acquired the status of fundamental right, it cannot be taken away by the parliament even by amending the constitution. That is what one should keep in mind. So then you may ask me why we are discussing it. There is an interesting case called Oxford University Press versus Rameshwari photocopying case associated with the Delhi University. In Delhi University, there is something called course pack, a study material, which will be xeroxed by the Rameshwari photocopying institute, something like that. It is a shop annexed located in the Delhi University campus itself. They will select certain important passages of the leading authors suggested by the university, and those passages will be xeroxed or photocopied by this Rameshwari Institute, and it will be given to the students at a cheaper cost. This assistance have been given to the students so as to facilitate access to the education and right to the education. So right to education is a fundamental right, which I have already told you, whereas copyright is not a fundamental right in our country. But some companies, particularly under the banner of Oxford University and other leading publishers, have sued the Delhi University, including that Rameshwari photocopying institute or shop, whatever you may call it, and the single bench in the Delhi High Court. The challenge was made before a single member division bench. The single member bench has given a ruling in favor of the students. They say right to education is a very important one. Private study is permissible under Section 52 of the Copyright Act. So nobody can stop the access. Okay. There are two more important doctrines we should remember. One is called fair dealing, another is called fair use. Fair dealing is embedded under the Copyright Act in India. It is a common law doctrine. Whereas fair use is embedded in the US system, particularly under Section 105 of the US Copyright Act speaks about this fair use theory. Fair use is very flexible. It gives more power to the judiciary. It's a very dynamic, elastic. Whereas fair dealing is fixed in the statute itself. So unless the exemption fits into the criteria fixed in the Act or any one of the specific exemption enumerations or categories as enunciated in the particular Act, you cannot claim exemption. It will be amounting to infringement, and once you commit infringement, you are liable to be punished and you need to pay compensation. Sometimes you may undergo imprisonment also if they file criminal prosecution. So it appeal went to the division bench. Thereafter, somehow the good sense has prevailed because India is a developing country, and somehow they made a compromise and the suit has brought to an end. But recent studies shows there is a standing parliamentary committee in the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. This committee reports clearly shows that just because these materials are copied for the purposes of educating the students or facilitating the right to access education to the students, in no way it is creating harm to the marketing of the aforestated copyrighted materials. There is no harm at all. There is no adverse impact on the copyrighted products and services. So therefore, there is no justification adopted. There is no justification or claims made by these copyrighted industries or copyrighted goods and services offered by these industries. So right to education should be facilitated at all cost, and copyright should subserve the right to education rather than it should run into conflict. To put it differently, copyright should complement the right to education rather than conflicting with the right to education. After all, the purpose is to promote the user's benefit. Otherwise, there is no, if there is no consumer, there is no need for the production of these copyrighted goods and services. In fact, it is one of the objectives enshrined under these Articles 7 and 8 of the TRIPS agreement. There is a doctrine called doctrine of mutual supportiveness. Of course, this has been done by the Doha Declaration in the area of public health, but such an analogy can be drawn even for the education also, because right to health as well as right to education is a fundamental right in Indian scenario. So we are very happy that the parliamentary panel has rightly sensitized, and we hope the free access to the education always continues, and the copyright industries should facilitate, and they should come forward providing more and more open source material, so that once the society gets enriched, once you get a learner society, scholarship society, automatically that will create the demand for the more copyrighted goods and services. We hope such day comes sooner rather than later. God bless you all. Jai Hind.